making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Last week, former senior advisor to former President Biden, Mike Donilon, sat down with a House Oversight Committee panel for a closed-door transcribed interview into former President Biden's mental capabilities and the ever-growing auto pen scandal. In his testimony, Donilon defended Biden and said Democrats panicked and were wrong to remove him from the ballot after his poor debate performance. According to a copy of Donilon's opening statement obtained by CNN, Donilon stated, quote, "What I saw day in and day out was a leader who was deeply engaged and in command on critical issues, both at home and abroad. Quote, I believed that President Biden was the best person to lead the country on the day he took the oath of office, and I continued to believe that was true every day that he served as president." Donilon has known and worked with Joe Biden for many years. His first job with Joe Biden was when he worked for him during his Delaware senator days back in 1981 as a strategist and media advisor. He also served as chief strategist on Biden's 2020 and 2024 campaigns. So while Donilon didn't plead the fifth like others close to Biden have, it's no surprise that he came to his defense. It is especially not a surprise to see Donilon come to Biden's defense after it was discovered that Donilon made $4 million off of Biden's campaign and would have made another $4 million on Biden's re-election had he stayed in the race and won. No wonder he claims it was a mistake for the Democrats to pull him from the race. But the claims that Democrats, quote, overreacted to Biden's debate performance and that Biden, quote, grew stronger throughout his presidency are comical. Here to react and give insight on how the Oversight Committee is pursuing the whole investigation, Tennessee Congressman and member of the House Oversight Committee, Tim Burchett. Tim, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me on, brother. Yeah, it's a full court press on this thing. I think America demands some answers. You know, you've got hundreds, if not thousands, of people that were pardoned, and you gotta wonder, was Joe Biden there? And I think the one thing that's been pretty prevalent in all this is the one signature we know that he signed was for his son, and that's the one where he said he wasn't going to do it.
What can you tell us about the future of this investigation into former President Biden's cognitive abilities and the use of the auto pen?
Well, the problem you have on the cognitive ability, everybody saw it, and everybody knew it. Everybody knew it was a cover-up by a lot of folks in the media, except for folks like y'all. Y'all were pretty straightforward in it. I could remember being on one of the TV stations and national, and I said this months ago, and they literally just attacked me during it. It was a very conservative lady, actually. I haven't even been back on her show, I don't think, since then. But because everybody was just in on it. And I think we're going to pursue the facts. And I think we need to look into whether people were compensated for this, because this administration has had a habit of that. Hunter was heavily compensated for his lack of knowledge in the energy sector. Yeah, apparently he and several members of his family were paid millions of dollars. It looks like there was a pretty good cash trail that followed all that. So I think we need to look at that. We need to look at transactions that were involved in that and see the connections that some of these people had that were pardoned.
So in regards to another scandal, you formally requested that the House Oversight Committee summon George Soros and Leonard Bernardo to testify to Congress regarding the Open Society Foundation's involvement in the Russian collusion hoax. What is the current status of this?
It's just that I've written a letter. I have not received a formal response from Chairman Comer. He's a stand-up guy. He's out of Kentucky. And of course, I'm in Tennessee. I see him every morning in the gym, usually around 6 or 6:30. And he, as I stated, he's a stand-up guy. He's gone after a lot of the corruption that's circled around the Biden administration. And he's going to help us get to the bottom of this. This thing is well documented. instance. There's actually an email that transpired that pretty much indicts all these people involved in this thing. So I think it'd be a good idea to bring them in. Will they come? Probably not. If they do, they'll plead the fifth. But I don't think we should leave any stone left unturned. These folks have had their way with this country for too daggum long.
What is it going to take to get these people in prison?
Republicans with some guts go after them. You know, they did that to Roger Stone. They pulled him out, a senior citizen. He's no threat to anybody. Had him out in his underwear. The news was there, to document the whole thing. Had him out there hours outside of his house before dawn in his underwear, handcuffed, just to humiliate him. And yeah, Republicans just going to have to get some guts. And, you know, here's what we do. We always get in power and we try to play nice. George W. Bush, for instance, he played nice with Teddy Kennedy on an education issue, and he got his hat handed to him. We got to quit playing nice. We got to go after these people relentlessly and continue because that's the way you get justice.
Tell us about something happened to you last week. You had a very scary thing happen.
Yeah.
And how are you recovering? Yeah. Tell us how you're doing. What happened?
I'm great. Well, I actually, my daughter's a barrel racer, and we've got several horses, and my wife and I were bringing a couple in, and I had one. My wife took one in ahead of me, and I was behind her, and a big old horsefly about the size of your thumb landed on that horse's tail end. And I was trying to get it away before it bit it, and sure enough, it bit him, and the horse yelped, and it kicked up, and then it kicked back, and then both feet came up and caught me right in the rib cage, right about there. So I broke a rib, went to the hospital, the trauma center, I guess, is where they ended up taking me. I didn't want to take an ambulance because I knew you all in the media would probably beat me there, help unload the stretcher, and I'm cheap anyway, and that would have cost some more money. So I just said, forget it. I said, load up the Bronco, and my wife drove me. And you never know how many potholes there are in the roads, and Tennessee has the best roads in the country. But until you break a rib and are driving down the road, because dadgum, it hurt. And but I only missed one meeting. I missed one young man's Eagle Scout, which I'm sorry I missed. I try to make all those things. I'll end up taking him out for a pizza buffet or something to celebrate. But I haven't missed. I've got drivers that'll take me around when I'm uncomfortable, and I'm still trying to make everything.
Well, a certain scene from Yellowstone comes to mind where something very similar happened, and the character was not so lucky. So yeah. So I'm so glad you're with us still.
Well, thank you, brother. I told somebody, I said, yeah, if I wasn't, all the people that hated me will be at my funeral saying what a great person I was.
Well, I'm glad that's not the case. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, brother. It's always a pleasure.
And coming up, the Media Research Center's Tim Graham deconstructs the media meltdown over Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle ad.